Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel, and today I'm embracing the summer weather. So temperatures have risen and finally the flowers are blooming and the bumblebees are buzzing. So I painted a nice field of flowers with some butterflies. And what's very common here are, I think in English it's a common brimstone butterfly. It's quite yellow green, and I really like them because they're quite small and there are many of those. So when you see them, you know that the summer has arrived. But let's get started. So now we are painting the wonderful common brimstone butterfly. In Finnish it is called lemon butterfly, and I believe because its wings remind very much of the lemon yellow, very bright colors. But back to my painting, I started to prepare some of the colors, so I do need lemon yellow, and then I use a little bit of a cobalt blue, so I get a very bright green. On my first layer I wanted to be quite light and not very heavy, and I use quite a lot of water and some of the paint, for example such as cobalt blue for the sky, which is a little bit further away. But I continue to add some of the green and yellow colors onto the wings. I prepared as well some of red colors, so I want to add clovers, and the color consists basically out of some crimson red and some cadmium mixed together. I add as well some of a darker green. I added here some ultramarine blue and some lemon yellow mixed together, but as you can see it's very light in color. I have not really wetted the paper beforehand, so I work here actually quite fast, but because it's basically kind of like a meadow, so I'm not really scared of adding some water stains there, because I will add later on some of the flowers more in detail, so it's nice to have a good structure. The darker green is basically now more of a lot of cobalt blue and less of the yellow, and having different shades of greens adding. I try to keep it relatively simple and just using those two colors such as lemon yellow and as well as cobalt blue. But of course if mixed with ultramarine blue and some lemon yellow, it gives nice colors, green colors as well. I try to spread everything with a big brush, and in my meadow I have, like I said, some clovers which are reddish in color and a little bit purplish, and then I add as well some buttercups. For the buttercups I will use basically some deep yellow. Back to my clovers, and the brimstone butterfly is sitting on one of them. I add here some light colors, and I spread it with the water, and I mixed a little bit purplish, so added some of the ultramarine blues to the red mixture. Now continue with the buttercup flowers, and add, like I said, deep yellow, a little bit stronger in color. And I see we have added a few of those, so just adding with a medium-sized brush some of the colors. And while the right side corner is still a bit wet, I add more of the green color. So I added a little bit of too much blue, which I try to spread with my big brush, and then add more of the green shade. So I wanted to have the right side corner a little bit of a darker, and also taking off a little bit of the paint so it looks like stems of the flowers, and add in between more of the darker green. And then a bit here more of the leaves, and just spreading it lightly, not too dark, and some stems to the flowers, but they are still quite light in colors. Some of the leaves, look where the flowers are, and then as well adding maybe a little bit of a darker leaves, connecting to the buttercup, and then mixing more of the very bright green. So I want to add it now to the second wing of the butterfly. It's a little bit more stronger. I waited also that the painting has dried, so now it's not mixing with others, with the background. And adding here more of the lemon yellow as well. A little bit of second wing. And then I thought the turquoise blue would fit nicely with this, and to kind of like a dark shadow areas. So I add here very strong turquoise blue. But of course, if you don't have turquoise blue, you can add just more of the cobalt blue. And further away, there are some more of the butterflies. Usually, you can see many of those flying during the summer. And a little bit darker color. The second one, which is really far away, and then mixing more of the red color and a little bit of a purple. I wanted to have it for the clovers, and what I do now is just to wet the top of the clovers and then add the red color a little bit, which is not very strong, and then while it's still wet, adding the purple that I have prepared before, and then I use a strong green here. So I do it with the second clover. It's more a little bit blurry, which is quite good because those flowers are a little bit further away, and they don't need to be too much in the detail. You can see that I have added a little bit more of the bluish colors, and then also some of the bright green. And it's always good to have different sizes of the same flowers, and maybe like looking in a different direction, so it's a little bit breaking the patterns. And then adding a bit more of the red, especially onto the main flowers. I will add more details. Need a bit more of the green. It's mixing nicely with the reddish colors as well, so it flows beautifully together. And then adding some of the green. And then carefully spreading the paint. try to add more of the leaves for the clovers, and then I continue with the second bigger one, which is a little bit closer up, and then adding as well some of the cobalt blue there. So it's nice and more details. And then I continue with the buttercups. I didn't add too much of a shadow, so too much of a darker colors there, but it's just a second layer of a deep yellow. And I forgot one of the flowers, which is a little bit further away, to add the colors. There, and now continue with the stem for the glove, as well as adding more structure to the meadow here. Adding more leaves, basically, or grass leaves. And I also tried to vary with the shades of green, so it looks much more interesting here, and adding more darker areas because it's very, very light in colors. I really want to emphasize, for example, the color of the buttercups, but as well as of the clover, and adding more stems to the flowers, just with swift motion, adding some lines, and they don't need to be too straight. I continue with my butterflies, so now they have very characteristic spots. The one spot on the wing, and it's important to kind of add it there, but also I continue with the body of the butterfly. And then if you want to add a special structure to the wings, just adding a little bit of water and then of a dark color of green. So if you want to emphasize, for example, I'm not sure if it's veins, but those lines on the wings, so get a little bit darker, and it gives a nice idea of the first layer coming through. However, I don't want to make it too detailed. It's just, it's not overcomplicated painting. And now I continue as well with the second wing, and adding there a lighter layer of turquoise blue, as well as with the body, adding here the eye and the fillers. As well as the legs. And continue with the further oil butterfly, which really looks like a normal, very simple shape of a butterfly. I wanted to add a little bit more color underneath the butterfly, so I just add more of the red, which prepared before, with a darker in shade. And the same goes for the other flowers. It is a very sunny day. Very, very beautiful flowers. And then just emphasizing the shape of those leaves, as well as of the flowers itself. So I think more green. A little bit in green around the buttercups, so that the yellow comes out really nicely. Some more darker green, and it's mixing together. I thought that the wings of the butterfly are not emphasized enough, So I add a little bit of water around it, and then I add more of a darker green as well as more of the bluish colors there. So now that it's popping out a little bit more. Some more color around the buttercups and as well as around the butterfly. A little bit more green, and more blue, very bright colored blue. And then while the areas are still wet, take a different harder brush and take off. I put it into water and then I take off some of the paint so it looks like there is a bit of a lighter grass coming through. And in between I add a very dark blue color. It's basically indigo blue mixed with the covered blue, just to emphasize the light areas. So just the grass where I took the paint off, and then as well as emphasizing the butterfly wings. I'm quite careful to add this paint around the flowers because it's very strong in color, and it's good to prepare quite a lot of paint when doing this area so you're not panicking that it runs out. I thought also that the right corner looks a bit too pale, and the grass, just adding some of the structure by adding more of the darker colors as well as adding some of the shadows. But there's not much to do, just really emphasizing the different shapes. So what would you like that really pops out in the painting, which flowers, and just surround them with a darker color, especially if the flowers are very light in color. And just adding here and there some details. But that was basically it. Thank you for watching. Okay, it was a little bit of a longer video and I hope you liked it anyway. This is what we painted today. I really like those red flowers as well as those, and a beautiful green butterfly. But that's it for today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!